You are now listening to On Air with Lewis Hunter.
Just a disclaimer for the upcoming episode. If there's any background noise or beeping, I do apologise. The microphone is messed up slightly in the recording. It's very, very unnoticeable, but if that does cause any issues, I do apologise. Anyway, please enjoy the episode as always.
Hi there, welcome back to On Air with Lewis Hunter, where we go into the lives of celebs, professionals, and behind-the-scenes workers of your favourite TV and film. Join me as we go into their lives and find out what it's like to be one of them. We are back with Adam Williamson. How are you doing?
I'm grand. I'm just absolutely wrecked at the moment.
And for people that are wondering why he is wrecked, we're currently recording at 12 minutes past midnight because, last minute things, and we sort of forgot to record for this week. So we are back. We will fire on, as always, to provide the content to use. And to start off this week, this is your topic, Adam. So this is The Walking Dead new show. So if you want to cover that, take it away.
Yeah, so Walking Dead have recently announced their, I want to say, sixth spin-off of the main show. And it takes place with Maggie and Negan in New York, which is even as someone who's caught up to the show without spoiling it, I have no idea whatsoever how this is going to take place. There is it's just with the past these characters have had and the present that they're in now, I have no idea how they're going to team up in the future. Like many of you know, obviously, Lewis, you've probably heard this one before from season 7 about what happens. And going from that scene to then hearing about this, it just doesn't make sense whatsoever. But I mean, it could work, which hopefully it does. I mean, I think we've had 2 good shows and a meh tier show, which was the World Beyond, and it took place. It followed a couple of kids, who were walled in, experiencing the apocalypse for the first time, aside from when the apocalypse broke out. And it was a very meh show, but it provided a lot of details for things such as like the virus, evolution, this new group that's crossed between all the universes, and information on the main show that we haven't actually got yet. But this one is going to obviously, it's going to take Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohan to star what is called Isle of the Dead. And it'll be pretty cool to see what it's like, but ultimately, I do not have high hopes for this one. I'm not going to lie. The 2 characters are great, but I don't think they could carry a show on their own.
I haven't obviously got to the point with Negan in The Walking Dead, as I'm still stuck on season 4. I haven't really been bothered to watch any further. I will get around to it eventually, but at the minute I'm just not bothered on it. But I find it interesting. At the same time, I think it's a bit of let's make more money sort of idea. But I mean, if people are going to enjoy it, why not? It's going to give a new twist to the story that, as you said yourself, you don't know how it's going to work, so it's going to want to draw you in to sort of understand it more.
Yeah, I mean, they've technically spoiled, even for me, somebody who hasn't finished the entire show yet because the entire show isn't out, they've spoiled 4 main characters that will not die. And I thought at least one of them would have. So that is Negan, Maggie, Carol, and Daryl. Carol and Daryl are also getting their own show. Whether or not it takes place post season 11 finale, or it'll be during some time cuts or what, but that one's not real. I don't know. See taking separate characters from the shows and removing them and making their own show out of it doesn't really work well. We've seen that happen before. But in terms of like Fear the Walking Dead, where they crafted this whole entire show and made it a Western, was amazing. I had to say that's one of my new favorite Walking Dead spin-offs.
Now, moving on from this topic, Mark Zuckerberg has announced that NFTs will be coming to Instagram in the near future. He said, and I quote, "I'm not ready yet to announce exactly what is going to be today, but over the next several months, the ability to bring some of your NFTs in will be added, and hopefully over time be able to mint things within that environment." He explained that they play a part in Meta's vision of the metaverse, saying, I quote, "I would hope that, the clothing that your avatar is wearing in the metaverse, can basically be minted as an NFT, and you can make it between different places. However, he also mentioned that, there's different aspects on that still need to be worked. I mean, his idea for the metavision and the metaverse, sorry, in my opinion, I don't really see it going anywhere. I think it's sort of something to try and revive the company, because the company, let's all be honest, is slowly but surely down, going down. But
Well,
I
yeah,
think
granted. Sorry, continue there.
I just think this is his way of trying to revive it.
Yeah, well, granted, Facebook did lose. I think was it. Or no, it wasn't. They lost. They have a sort of steady upward gain, and obviously, if they don't if they gain the same amount as last month's or last year's, it'll say 0. But they actually gained 1 million less users, or had 1 million less users active than the previous year, and that's not good for shareholders when they see that sort of stuff. That's very bad. And I think with this NFT announcement for Instagram, um, and even the metaverse in general, it's just not. I don't see it being a positive aspect of our company. We've seen people how they react to different NFTs and how many companies have turned against them. You're
Like
looking,
Steam, for example.
yeah. Whenever you're making something like this, you have to think, what does the majority want? And if it's not NFTs, then you're going to have an issue when the majority don't want that. They're gonna lose their mind. They're gonna freak out, and then you're gonna end up losing stock in the company because of how much people you've lost with it. And I mean, Facebook's a big company; it'll hold its own. But at the same time, if it was something smaller, it would probably die off within a few months.
A good example of somebody that doesn't agree with it is the Nintendo of America president, former Nintendo of America president, Reggie Fils-Aimé. He said Facebook itself is not an innovative company. They have either acquired interesting things like Oculus and Instagram, or they've been a fast follower of people's idea. I don't think their current definition will be successful. I would agree with that one.
Yeah, no, and if I don't know, it's very iffy here and there. If they find a way to do it a bit more environmentally friendly, and obviously I'm not too sort of heavy on environment, but granted, that and cryptocurrency are major. The fact that they use so many of the GPUs, and it like the heat that comes off them and how bad they are for the environment, turns me away from that sort of stuff. And if they find a way to get NFT into Instagram and stuff like that that wasn't so heavily reliant on power and that many GPUs, like there's people that can't get GPUs because of this, then I might see myself getting into that space. But for now, I don't think we're ready for it.
I think it's a bit too ahead of its time, for say.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, now moving on. This is the topic that Adam and I want to cover ourselves. There'll be no spoilers in it. There'll be no articles that we're referencing off. This is just our experience. And this is of the Batman movie, which Matt Reeves directed. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, just before its release. And now we have seen it and we want to give our reviews. So Adam, Jimmy, Jake, and I all went to, what cinema was it? Was it Odeon?
Odeon, yeah.
Yeah, Odeon in Victoria Square, Belfast, and we went and seen the Batman. Now, this was not the cinema I wanted to go to, but whenever the group decides, it's favored over that. Now,
there was an argument in the class about this, and I sat trying to film, and all I could hear was Jake and Jamie in the corner.
Yeah, being like, we're not going to Cineworld, it'll be no different.
Yeah, they wanted that drink, or no, they were talking about maybe we wanted to go there for that drink, and I was like, no, we're not going there for that. Obviously, I think it was it not last week's episode we talked about this, or the week before that one?
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we're not like, no, just go to cinema and watch it. Granted, those seats did feel like bricks, but anyway,
Yeah.
we're not talking about the cinema. We're not talking about the seats. We're talking about the movie.
And it's so overpriced for what it is in that cinema.
Oh yeah, no, it did rob me blind. It took money out of my back pocket and slapped
They
me.
were like, it'll be £7, £10.50 or something.
Oh no, it was £7 for you because you look like a child. For me, it was
Yeah, I got a
£9.
child. I tried to get a student thing, and they were like, "No, we don't do students, but we'll just give you a child ticket." So I got away with it.
On to the film though. The actual film itself was pretty good. Like, long, granted, yes, but it did make up for it with the amount of action and stuff in it. I'm not going to say who was in it, what was in it. Obviously, we know that the Riddler was in it. That's just that was basic. That was
The
bare
actor who
nice.
played the Riddler was very good.
Oh yes, he was beautiful at playing the Riddler. I don't want to go too deep into it because obviously we said no spoilers, but
He
beautiful
took a very
stuff.
different twist to the Riddler's normal way.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I have to agree. It was very, very psychotic, and it was
Oh,
it
yeah.
was very well done. 100%.
It was sort of like a different take because obviously you see the Riddler and he's always in his like green spandex and on it. He definitely wasn't in this film, and it sort of gives you an idea of a Joker in a sense, where he seemed like he just wasn't right in the head.
Oh yeah, no, he was in Arkham Asylum. Like everybody was like in Arkham. Was he at that point? I don't know. I see. I've sort of. I'm trying to think of in terms of lore. Were they already like? I don't know who. Like, no, I mean they go in and go out, in and out, and that sort of thing.
I think it's because it's year 2 Batman. I don't think he was quite yet in Arkham.
Yeah. So yeah, but it was still it. I don't know. It was interesting to see everything unfold within the movie in terms of the villains, the twist, especially the one at the end, which I'm not going to say.
Although mine and your depiction of the end turns out it actually wasn't true. It was a different character.
Yeah, no, I found that one out the other day, and they did say I read up on this article, thanks to Jake. They said that we don't know if he'll be back. They think it's only going to be that and that's it, because there's a lot of cut
to sort of give
content.
them a lead.
Yeah, there was a lot of cut content with that character in it, but they just didn't really do anything with it aside from that, so they cut him out.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I feel like it was a bit too long. I think they could have cut it to maybe 2.5 hours, 2 hours, but if it's a very good depiction of the Batman, where he's not quite managed to learn all his tricks he had previously got in older films, because obviously it was later Batman's. Because obviously, if you've seen the trailers and whatever, he has to sort of solve this master riddle. And if it was a year 3, year 4 Batman, he'd solve that a lot quicker than what he does in this. And that's because he's still learning. And I think that's a good way of doing it, because I mean, I seen something on it where you could actually figure out the riddle right from the beginning of the film if you had paid enough attention.
Oh, also, somebody made a good point in saying that Robert Patterson's depiction of Batman was that because he was new to this whole thing, it was the case of he was trying to learn. What was it again? I think it was something about trying to learn to be not as destructive, or just learning about those mistakes throughout the film. And you sort of see that because he does seem like he's very new compared to like Bateman or what do you call him?
Clooney's Batman.
Yeah, like they weren't as destructive. Like obviously without saying stuff like that, but Robert Patterson essentially blew up everything he touched.
Mm-hmm. And can I just correct before anyone starts going wildfire? Adam has a bit of a culty accent, so whenever he says Robert Pattinson in Robert Patterson, he means Robert Pattinson, but yeah.
You know what I mean.
Just before somebody goes, and he's saying his name wrong. So, but no, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. If it was a bit shorter, it definitely would reach the 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for Robert Pattinson coming from, Christopher Nolan acting in, and yes, that was a really good movie. I'm still very confused to this years on, like what it actually was about, but it was still a good movie. I went and seen it in cinema. I came out and I was just like, oh, what have I just watched? Like it was one of those movies that even to this day I couldn't tell you. But Kenneth Branagh played a very good role in it. That's the Northern Irish actor I was looking for, the director too, who directed Death of Nine very recently. But yeah, no, he has definitely took a leap forward from Twilight, The Tenant, to now The Batman. Because I wasn't a big fan of Robert Pattinson personally. I thought he sort of should have been left in the Twilight era, but he's making a good forward move on it.
Yeah, big comeback.
Yeah, a very big comeback from what he previously had acted in, because that's where all the backlash was coming from. So fair play to him. Kudos to him. But moving on, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has received DLC. So this is wave 1 that has came out. It seems to be part of a booster course pass, so it must be like a battle pass in a sense.
It no. It's just like a season pass, like say Call of Duty or
Okay.
something like that. There.
Or like Siege, yeah.
Yeah.
And it has included for wave 1 Paris Promenade from Mario Kart Tour, Code Circuit from Mario Kart 3DS, Choco Mountain from Mario Kart 64, Coconut Mall from Mario Kart Wii, Tokyo Blur from Mario Kart Tour, Shroom Bridge from Mario Kart DS, Sky Garden from Mario Kart Advance, and Ninja Hideaway from Mario Kart Tour. Um, 8 courses are planned to be released in each wave, and they'll all be delivered by the end of 2023. So the first one came out, very, very recently. I haven't seen any reviews on it, but I mean, if I still had a Switch, I would probably try it. Booster Course Pass costs $25 as a standalone purchase. So whatever that would be in retrospect, pounds, euros, whatever it is. But Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack subscribers will get it as part of their premium membership. So there'll be 48 courses in total by the end of 2023 in 6 different waves. Now, I know you have a Switch, Adam, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so would you be planning to get this?
Oh yeah, no, I'm planning to get this. Don't you worry. For 48 tracks for about 20 quid, like it's pretty good. That's less than £1 per track. So
Yeah.
Granted, a lot of them look like they came from the Mario Kart Tour, and Coconut Mall has changed slightly to the fact that it's not me's driving them, and as somebody said to me, it's not the same getting run over by a shy guy than it is getting run over by Obama back in the Wii. So, but it's still pretty cool. Like a lot of them, like Coconut Mall, Toad Circuit, Choco Mountain. I can't wait for it all. Like, well, it's already obviously the first wave's out. I'm gonna be getting it, but I can't wait for the rest of them to release.
If I still had a Switch, which I did have a Switch once, and then I sold it. I don't know why I sold it. I still have Mario Kart Odyssey. If anyone wants to buy it, let me know.
Wait, Mario Kart Odyssey?
Or not Mario Kart Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey. As I said, we're recording quite late, so please do excuse any mistakes. So if anyone wants to buy Super Mario Odyssey, please do let me know. But moving on, a new movie trailer which has released is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So this is Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek. They are in it. It's not become a movie; they star in it. It's to do with basically Puss in Boots has lost 8 of his 9 lives, and he must restore his lives through some mythical wishing star. So I remember seeing the old Puss in Boots back in 2011. God, that was 11 years ago. And it was a good movie, as well as obviously Shrek, which he came from. But it's a funny movie overall.
Kind of scared for the second one because it just like the art style. Don't get me wrong, from the trailer was great. Loved it. There was all different there's all different art styles going on in it, and it looks beautiful. But I mean, like Puss in it's been 10 years, 10 years
Over a
since
decade.
the last Puss in Boots movie, and even at that, it was pretty meh. And the show as well. I think the show was something to do with the egg and like I don't know. The show was really weird too. Like there was just
The
I don't
show
know.
was very much meh.
Yeah, like the Puss in Boots franchise itself has been pretty meh. Like when he's in Shrek, he's good because there's always that balance between him, Donkey, and Shrek. But whenever they go solo like this here, it doesn't feel right. Like they've turned Puss into like a Shrek type character, and the actual I don't know. It's weird because they try to replace the trio of Shrek, Donkey, and Puss in Puss in Boots, and I think they've tried to deal with the dog, the black cat, and then obviously the obviously Puss in Boots itself. But I guess we'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah. I mean, I love Puss in Boots. I love Shrek. So, I'm interested to see, but I don't think if it went to theaters, which I believe it is, I don't believe I would go personally see it. If it came to streaming services just straight away, like a Netflix movie or, Stars movie or, something like that, Prime, I would see it, but not personally going to see it in cinema. I don't know about you.
Nope, neither am I. I am going to see the new Shrek movie that's been announced.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're just trying to cash grab, to be honest with you, at this point.
Well, I mean, everybody's asked for it, so like, I mean, they're not really cash grabbing; they're just giving the people what they want. Maybe cash grabbing too, but
I'd say there's a big part of cash grab in there. Now moving on, this is your topic you wanted to cover, and this is Ringu released on Dead by Daylight. So take it away.
Yeah, so from the movie Ring itself, Ringu, the girl who comes from and through the TVs and stuff like that, there has been added as a character, and it's pretty cool. Like this was announced a while back, and I've been sitting waiting every single day, checking for details to see if she's been released. Then I saw she was released on the beta, and had a look at her Mori, which is her finisher, for anybody who doesn't play Dead by Daylight, and it's pretty grim. But it's so cool. Like she has different abilities and stuff like that there. Like her Scourge Hook, which or Floods of Rage is at the start of the trial, up to 4 random hooks are changed in like Scourge hooks, and you can see the auras. And then when a survivor's unhooked from that Scourge hook, you can see all the survivors for 5 seconds. Like that seems pretty overpowered. And if that's just a basic one, obviously you can then upgrade them even more. That's going to be a really good perk. As well as that, the generator regresses at 150% of the normal regression speed, and its aura is revealed to you. And each time survivor completes a good skill check on a generator affected by this perk, you receive a loud noise notification, so you know where they're at. So not only do you get a notification for where all the survivors are at, you then get a notification on the generator that's being regressed, and you receive a loud noise notification when they do a good skill check on it. It's pretty overpowered, like, and I cannot wait for them to release it. Oh no, I think it is released. Is it? Yeah, it is released.
I think it is released, yes, as part of Chapter 3. In less than a week, it says, so by the time this is released, more than likely. But I mean, if you enjoy Dead by Daylight, which I mean, I don't personally anymore. I think I played it for like a week, but you know, but if you still do enjoy it, it's a good time, you know, to play the game. But I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's a date, but no, it just says later in the week. So
no, it's already been released and all, because it's I'm pretty sure anyway, because I've seen some of the actual gameplay of it.
Yeah, on April 19th, there will be The Artist, as well as The Blight and Michaela Reed. And
they're
also,
they're the skins and stuff, not the actual characters.
Zarina Xur and Jonah Vasquez, and then on the 21st of April, there'll be Nia Carlson. So, very interesting. Now, moving on, well, this isn't a movie, this is a show coming to Disney Plus, and this is Miss Marvel. So, this will be Kamala Khan, who plays Miss Marvel. Well, Kamala Khan is also, you know, the role, and it is about a Pakistani kid that, you know, gets these superpowers. Now, we don't exactly know how exactly she gets them. We know she wears some sort of bracelet that gives her them in a cosmic way, and the art style is pretty cool for, you know, how she sits there, and in her thoughts she sees, you know, people's speech coming out in speech bubbles, and there's a lot of doodles, because obviously she's just a kid. But, you know, it's a different way of taking to it. They're obviously trying to get to more of the younger audience now. So I found that very interesting. And, you know, as a big lover of Marvel and the Marvel shows recently, especially, I'm quite interested to see this.
Yeah, it's like, obviously I've been waiting for a Ms. Marvel sort of anything for the last while, because with obviously the comics, and I don't mind the comics, I already had them, but in terms of the actual film or TV, I've been waiting for this for so long, and I'm glad that it's coming, because Ms. Marvel, and we've already had Captain Marvel, and obviously Ms. Marvel, that's where she gets her name from. She's an idol of Captain Marvel, but it's just, I don't know, Ms. Marvel for me as a character is always so, it's strange because you don't see her much, but she's a really good, like, she's like, I've in the games, in the comics, in some of the shows she's been in, she just is a really good character, and it was a shame we've only got her now. Like, she would have been so good, like, back ages ago.
Yeah. Now, I thought I would cover this just because of the topic we're on, and this is the upcoming Marvel TV and movies coming up in the near future. So Moon Knight is coming on Disney Plus on March 30th, which we have covered a bit. You know, it's to tell the story of Mark Spector, a mercenary left for dead. And there's also, you know, Ethan Hawke, And there's different personas that Mark Spector has. Like it's like MPD in a sense, where he doesn't remember these other sort of sides to him, and he has this sort of demon that takes over him. It's a lot to do with Egyptian iconography, but it's a very interesting show I'm very excited for. Then on May 6th, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which Benedict Cumberbatch has said that he believes this is going to do just as well as Spider-Man No Way Home, if not better. So I'm very interested to see how that goes. It looks like they're bringing in Professor Xavier from the X-Men, as sort of a variant of him in the Illuminati Council. So that'll be very interesting to see. And then we have Miss Marvel, as we just mentioned, that comes out in June 8th. It's a 6-piece series. Then we have Thor, Love and Thunder, that comes out July 8th. An Untitled Halloween special from Disney Plus, and that'll be coming out probably on Halloween, I would assume. Then we have Black Panther Wakanda Forever, that comes out November 11th. How they'll do that, I don't know, as we have discussed previously, but it'll be very interesting. Kevin Feige said he will not recast the character of Chadwick Boseman. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special coming in the holiday season. Then we have She-Hulk, which is expected to come out in 2023. Then on February 17th, we'll have The Marvels, which is going to get very confusing, with Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, The Marvels, sort of like the Spider-Man era where they do get a bit confusing. But it'll be very interesting to see where they go with that. I imagine Monica Rambeau will come into play with that. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That's expected to release May 5th, 2023. So I'm very excited for that, with James Gunn coming back. Then we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. That comes out July 28th. Then we have X-Men 97, which is sort of bringing back the original X-Men animated TV show. That's expected probably around summer 2023. Then we have Secret Invasion, which the date has not been decided yet, but they reckon it'll be 2023, and that's to do with the Skrulls, and the Skrulls are among everyone, and that'll be quite interesting to see that. Of Blade, which the date has not been announced yet, but that's obviously to do with the ending of the Eternals movie and what happened there. And I assume Nicolas Cage will come back with Ghost Rider, because that's a whole big part of the Blade series of events. Then we have Deadpool 3, which once again the date has not been announced. Then we have Fantastic Four, which is going to reprise the Fantastic Four series of movies and events. It's currently in the works. Once again, dates have not been announced for any of these following ones.
Can I add a wee bit here? There is one of the characters, or one of the people that's suspected to be Ghost Rider is Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. The one who plays Daryl, which would be absolutely amazing. His voice would be perfect for it.
Mm-hmm.
That raspy, dark voice.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would love to see Nicolas Cage come back.
Yeah, but either or, both would be great actors for it. So whoever gets it, I really do hope that they play well.
Then we have I Am Groot. Once again, not decided on a date. That's a short series that tells, the story of baby Groot's glory days growing up and getting into trouble. The executive producer will be Christian Lepore. Then we have Armor Wars, which once again hasn't been announced, but it'll be Don Cheadle. War Machine, and that's coming to Disney Plus as a show. Then we have Ironheart, which is to do with Riri Williams, which is Tony Stark's daughter, and how she has to play to do a suit of armor. She'll make her debut in Black Panther 2 apparently, but that'll be interesting to see how that plays in. Then we have Echo, which is obviously going to follow on from the Hawkeye show. Obviously to do with Maya Lopez, obviously her being deaf and having Echo location, I assume, something to do with that. And then we have a Wakanda series, which has not yet been announced a date, but it's a TV series on Disney Plus to do with the wilder world of Wakanda. It's on which characters will anchor the series. Then we have Captain America 4, which will follow on from Falcon and the Winter Soldier to do with the Falcon now being Captain America. Then we have Loki Season 2, which once again hasn't been announced to date, but I'm hoping it's within the end of the next year or two. Then we have What If Season 2, which once again hasn't been announced. But, I really enjoyed What If, so I'll be interested to see where that goes. We have House of Harkness, that obviously continues on from WandaVision, Spider-Man Freshman Year, which I believe is a animated show that is planned to come out. And then we have Marvel Zombies, which is obviously a spin-off to do with What If and the comics. And then we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings 2, which doesn't have a name yet, but I quite enjoyed Shang-Chi, so I am excited to see that. Is there any shows in particular, Adam, that you're excited to see?
Honestly, the weirdly enough, the Groot one seems like it'll be pretty cool. And
Yeah.
the Wakanda one, I never knew that was a thing. So maybe that one will be
Neither
pretty
did
cool
I
as
until
well.
I was reading that there, but that's credited off IGN, so.
Yeah, fair enough. And obviously then the Miss Marvel one, which I'm excited for, and Loki season 2.
Now, speaking of Marvel, an Oscar-winning actor and Marvel star died of age 71, and that is William Hurt. He played Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross in Hulk, Civil War, Black Widow, and was expected to return in She-Hulk. He passed away of natural causes quite recently, only a week from his 72nd birthday. It's quite a sad thing to see because he was such a big actor and he was obviously a big part of the MCU. He debuted on screen in the 70s. It's just quite a sad thing to hear that such a big actor and such, it's just sad. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, no, I'd have to seeing him in Hulk and then going to like the actual Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man and all there was a pretty cool experience, and seeing him all the way up to Black Widow and hopefully She-Hulk. It's been it's gonna be weird without him because he was sort of like the Avengers babysitters. He told them what not to do, when to go, that sort of thing, and he
With the
technically
Accord.
Yeah, I'm saying this. He technically caused the civil war between the Avengers, but he was as much as he wasn't a major character throughout the series, he was a pretty cool, good character. He's a memorable one.
Now, another topic we want to cover, which is personal, sort of to us in a sense, and that is to do with paperwork deadlines for our upcoming movie we are working on. So, what is yours like, considering we're in two different groups?
Paperwork or in general?
Just in general, but also to do with the paperwork.
Well, no, we're doing all right. I think Chris wants us to get an idea of what we're doing for the set tomorrow. I think they were saying. And so we're getting our cardboard, we're getting designs, we're basically getting the basics of what we want in terms of buttons, windows, that sort of thing. And it'll be pretty cool to see how this thing's going to play out. I suggested, for instance, for the windows, instead of like painting like a window or something like that there, just to get a green screen, slap it on, and then edit like stars passing by and like a bit of glass that's opaque. It'll be simple, but
I mean, with my group, it's all over the place, to be quite honest with you. I'm not going to get into too much details about it, but let's just say, there's no coordination or communication in a sense with our production manager and the rest of the group.
Okay, that's not good.
No one really knows exactly what's happening. Everyone's doing each other's jobs because, things aren't working. But hopefully with tomorrow, more will be sort of fixed, I would like to hope.
Yeah, like whatever. I don't know what's going on exactly, but hopefully that gets sorted.
Yeah, I mean, we've had discussions about it, but there's only so much we can do ourselves. Like, I'm the sound guy. There's not that much I can realistically do.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm sort of out of the loop in a sense. And I was on a call with my group discussing this the other day, but then things occurred and I had to leave the call. Which Adam, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I cannot discuss. But yeah, so who knows what's happening? But I guess we'll find out once the deadlines are done. I think me and Mark are getting our finalized thing to send away to Marty, the technician. I've sent away my sound stuff, and I think he has sent away the camera stuff, which I think was my job, but he done it anyway. But who knows? I mean, I'm excited to work on this, but getting up to E3 up and down every day is going to be so painful.
When do we actually have to start going up to that point?
I think in a week or two.
Okay.
Yeah. It's quite sudden, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But I think that's all I've got to cover on paperwork side of things. Anything else
Yeah,
you
I think that.
No.
No, I think that's it. Really.
Okay. So another topic you personally wanted to cover, and that's because you have had hands-on, and that's the GTA 5 next gen. Now, I just want to say that the loading times are over twice as fast on PS5 to PS4, with I believe coming to 20 seconds to load in.
Yeah, well, obviously PS4 and Xbox One, it did actually take a bit longer than 40
It takes
seconds,
about
but
2 minutes.
oh yeah,
for
yeah. I
PS4.
don't know whose PS4 and Xbox Ones are taking like 40 seconds, but I need to have a word with them because I want that Xbox One. But yeah, no, the loading times have really increased, or not increased, decreased, and it's great to notice. You know what I mean? You're straight into the game, as well as that character swap in between single players, like Rockstar said, seamless. In terms of frames, it is noticeably different. Like, it is beautiful. If you've never played GTA 5 on a Series X full stop, and you've been playing it on Xbox One, you will notice a huge difference in terms of frames. In terms of graphics as well, there is an actual upgrade on them. I've noticed a lot that it's the hair is a weird one that's been upgraded. The
You are
geometry
obsessed with the hair.
I know, but like, it's every time I look at it, like, my character is bald, right? He's got a stubble on his head, but it's so weirdly detailed. Um, as well as that, the explosions and fires and stuff like that there have been changed for a different effect. Granted, the fire is a 2D or 2.5D, I want to say, image that just spins with the character following it. But I mean, and added a new paint job as well, chameleon, which is pretty cool. It's like it's like pearlescent, but a bit more detailed to it. That's awesome. Like, I love it. The only issue I have is that, no, it does warn you, but I didn't realize this until after, because I didn't read the warnings. I sort of went off straight off it. But whenever you transfer your character from last gen to current gen, that being PS4 to PS5 or Xbox One to Series X, you actually lose access to those characters on previous gen.
I was reading that apparently they fixed that from what I was reading, but
really,
yeah, I seen something, I think it was from IGN, that they're either working on a fix or they've fixed it.
ooh, damn.
Yeah,
I have to have a look at
that's
that
not
because
helpful.
I don't know. It wasn't really a bug. I don't think it was. I think it was just a thing they added, but I'm not too sure. Maybe
Maybe they backtracked on that. I don't know.
probably, but I'll have a look on whenever I get on later. Well, not
Mhm.
tonight, but tomorrow. Or no, I'm not even going to be on tomorrow, but at some point during next week. But yeah, honestly, the experience is much better. The driving is motion blur. There's 3 different modes if you're on Series X and PS5, which is fidelity. There's fidelity no, there's fidelity. There's ray tracing, and then there's performance ray tracing, and obviously with the performance ray
Have them all on
tracing,
at once?
huh?
Can you not have them all on at once?
No, obviously, because it takes different things like oh, the performance mode obviously optimizes it for 60 FPS 4K. And then what do you call it? The art ray tracing mode gets, my head is literally fried here. The ray tracing mode gets it to 4K 30 FPS ray tracing. And then I'm pretty sure the performance ray tracing aims for 60, so it's not locked at 60, but it aims for it. So it like go up and down every so often. It gives you ray tracing and 4K, which is pretty cool. Upscaled 4K that is as well, and not native. If you want native 4K, you go for the actual performance mode itself. But the lighting, the colors, the explosions, the cameras, it all has changed, and it's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't obviously have new gen console, can't afford that, I'm not minted like some people. But I don't even plan to really get one anytime soon because there's not really that much of a difference. But I mean, fair enough to them, but I just want to see GTA 6.
Yeah,
I
a
think
lot of
we all
people do,
do.
to be fair.
Yeah, like if they could
It,
just hurry up with it, then I might upgrade console.
yeah, they did talk about having it done already, but it's or not done. Sorry,
In the
they
works.
did. Yeah, they did talk about having it in the works, but literally nothing's finished yet. So I can't wait for that to be done.
I mean, I would expect a trailer by the end of the year. That's where I see it going.
Maybe next year. I don't think I see one this year.
I mean, it's been too long. It's been nearly 10 years.
You have to remember though they were working on GTA Online, GTA Next Gen, GTA Trilogy, and Red Dead Redemption 2, and plus the Red Dead Redemption 2 updates.
Well,
So
we did see the trilogy and how that went. They really didn't do that much to it.
yeah, but they were still working on it. You know what I mean? Granted, it was terrible, but they still did something.
Yeah, true.
But yeah,
Moving on, topic I wanted to cover, and this is because I want to give my experience on it so far, and that is on Guardians of the Galaxy, the game made by Marvel, not the Telltale series. Now, it released on Xbox Game Pass very recently, and I'm not one for, story mode games. As we could tell, I bought Spider-Man maybe a month or two ago. I think we were talking about it, and I haven't touched it in probably about a month, maybe longer. But I think it was about my birthday was the last time I touched it. So coming up to 3 months ago. And Guardians of the Galaxy. I started playing it. I played a bit of the intro. I think I played about an hour and a half, and it's good. There's story driven stuff. You have choices on how you change certain scenarios. So, for example, you get arrested by some sort of organization, and you have some sort of explosion happen, and you have to help the leader's daughter get through, and you do that, and you sort of my choices were to tell her, agree with her to do the stuff she was saying about her mum, and then you get in the lift, and because she's been hacking through the systems, and her mum asks, and I basically touted on her, and that then meant that I wasn't locked up, and I only got away with a fee. So it was stuff like that. It's very choice driven, but also very not free roam in a sense, because obviously you're stuck to certain boundaries, but you feel like you're free roam. And even though the characters aren't the actors, you sort of forget they're not the actors, and you can unlock certain things. So obviously the characters don't look like their counterparts from the movies, but if you go and you explore all these extra bits that you wouldn't really do if you were just following the story. For example, I unlocked Groot from the first movie, so I changed Groot's outfit to be the first movie Groot, so he looks more like the Groot from the movies, and I believe there's probably that for all the other characters. So it's very interesting with that. There's definitely a lot of playtime to be done on it. Whether I'll end up doing that or not, that's a different question altogether. But
so quick question: can you be other characters, or is it only Star
you
Lord?
can be all the characters, yeah. At this
Oh.
point, I can only be Star-Lord, but I believe at certain other parts you can be other characters. And for example, there's a boss fight in the first bit, and every character has its own thing. So if you hit a certain button on your controller, you can access sort of like this wheel. And then, for example, you can tell Groot to go lock everyone up as a tree, or you can tell Rocket to go explode everyone. Stuff like that. It's quite cool. So I definitely recommend playing it, especially if you're into story games. You will love it. I can tell you that now. But whether I get around to finishing it or not, I don't know. So moving on, a topic that we seen while we were researching, and this is to do with Pete Davison. As always, quite recently, Pete Davison got Kim Kardashian's name branded on his chest as a scar, he says. So this is from a clip in the Ellen DeGeneres show, released on Tuesday. So that would have been Tuesday the 15th. He has a few tattoos, and one of them is the Kim one. It's actually branding. So he basically got a scar to do with Kim, which is quite funny.
Bit obsessive, but yeah.
Yeah. But that's just Pete and Kanye at the minute. So who honestly knows what's going on in their life? I don't particularly want to know or care. I think there's too much light on it. It's their personal lives. I don't think we should really be reading into it that much.
No, like I mean, to be fair, I did break the other day to Kanye on the phone and like told him that he's in bed with his wife. I think that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they're really heated at the minute.
I think Kim's just rolling her eyes or something.
Yeah, they're probably like, oh dear, here we go again. But sure, they broke up, did they not?
Who, Kim, Pete?
Pete and Kim?
No, they did not.
I thought they broke up. I thought she said she was single now.
No.
Oh, God knows what's happening then. But moving on from that topic, Netflix is cracking down on password sharing with its new feature test. So they announced today, which would have been March 16th at the time. So that was Wednesday. They announced that their new features of target-wide password sharing with people outside your household. This comes months after the streaming giant announced that it's raising its monthly prices again. They said that they're upgrading their price and they will allow them to add viewers who don't live in their household at a discounted price. So basically what this means is if you wanted, say for example, Adam, you wanted to share me your Netflix account and you're already paying for a family account, but I'm not in your household and they can tell by your IP address. You have to pay an extra like £3 or £4 a month to basically have me on your Netflix.
My question then would be in terms of a VPN.
Yeah, I think a VPN, I think this is probably their way on tackling VPNs too.
You'd have to make you pay. Yeah, I don't think they initially maybe had the idea for this for VPNs, but then saw that it could help and went for it. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the VPNs just ignored all, but I can't wait to see how it affects that.
Yeah, apparently in their terms of services, it says that your Netflix account may not be shared with individuals beyond your household. So apparently we're all breaking TOS.
Oh, it's all good. I mean, what are they gonna do? Hunt you down for it?
I mean, we've just announced that we're breaking TOS. So
Oh no.
moving on. This is to do with Resident Evil. Now, Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 are getting PS5 and Xbox Series X upgrades. So that's quite interesting. This will be the 9th generation version of their games. So their saved data from the original PS4 and Xbox One versions of the games will carry over to the upgraded versions. DLC that comes with Resident Evil Gold Edition, that's Resident Evil 7, will transfer over as well. So that's quite exciting news for gamers that, maybe have played the game or not quite finished the game and want to finish it, but they've, sold their old Xbox and they've bought a new one. So PC versions of the games will also receive upgrade patches at the same time as PS5 and Xbox Series X versions are released. So, it's very interesting. There'll be haptic feedback. What is it, sorry?
I can't wait to play them. They all look really nice, and hopefully the frames are upped in them as well for all of them because they just look beautiful.
And they're doing they're focusing more on the game's horror events rather than just scene by scene redos of the original. So the horror events will be very much increased. So people that are big fans of the games will be more than happy to see this. There are also plans to release the Resident Evil show on, I believe, Netflix by July, if I'm correct on that one.
Yes, you are correct.
So that's also very interesting for Resident Evil movie franchise versions of it, because obviously they've released a few movies and they have not been great. So to have a show come on it, hopefully with a good director, good VFX team, they can definitely improve on what they've released in the past. I'm just looking at screenshots here. IGN have released of the game and it looks very good.
All the upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do look beautiful.
They really do. So, as I said, PS5 versions will utilize the DualSense controller's haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. This means that 4 out of the 8 mainline Resident Evil games will officially be available on Sony and Microsoft next-gen hardware without having to use backwards compatibility, which is always great to see. I'll have ray tracing, higher frame rates, 3D audio. So definitely something to look forward to if you are a horror genre enthusiast. Now, before we end this episode, is there anything else you would like to cover, Adam?
No, I think we've covered the topics fairly well.
I'm just going to quickly go over this, and this is to do with the new Sony State of Play release that they recently had, and this is to basically say that they are now bringing a Hogwarts game, I believe. So that's quite interesting, and you know, it looks very, very good. It's an open world sort of game, so I'm quite interested to see how that goes. Obviously, I don't have a PS5, so I won't be playing it. I don't really touch my PlayStation 4, but for people that do have PS5 and want to try that, that'd be very interesting. And the last thing I want to cover is Daredevil Reboot for Disney Plus is reportedly set to begin production. Now, I was a very big fan of Daredevil, which we have discussed, as I recently watched the whole series, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. They released Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and I believe Luke Cage, as well as maybe the Defenders to Disney Plus. I'm not 100% sure on that one. And they didn't seem to censor anything that was in the show, which is always good. So if anyone hasn't watched that, we said previously that it'll only be on Canada, but they seem to have released it across everywhere. So, you know, if you want to watch those shows that you couldn't watch on Netflix because they've now been removed, they are on Disney Plus. But I believe that covers everything. So I just want to say thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week.